Hello and welcome. You're watching The Buck Stops Here and I'm Barkha Dutt. Barely had the controversy over meat and politics settled down in Maharashtra and is still simmering there, has a new controversy erupted in Jammu and Kashmir. This after the Jammu and Kashmir High Court, responding to a public interest petition, said that the beef ban, a law that has been in place for more than 100 years, should be enforced strictly. It's now led to a political eruption, with the National Conference declaring that it will be placing a new legislation asking for this law in the Ranbir Penal Code. Remember, Jammu and Kashmir has its own penal code to be reversed. So is beef now on the political platter of Jammu and Kashmir? And unlike other states, are the stakes here, pun not intended, much higher? Are we playing with fire here, as separatists called for a boycott and a shutdown of the city in protest of this decision? Of course, the High Court is making the argument that this is already on the law books and no political party thought of questioning it up until now. Let's introduce our panel this evening. Joining us from the National Conference is Nasir Sogami. Nasir, of course, is drafting, one of the key draftsmen of that new legislation that will be asking for a change in the law that upholds the ban on beef. From the PDP, we're joined by its General Secretary, Rafi Ahmed Mir. Both of these leaders are joining us from Srinagar. From Jammu, we're joined by Arun Gupta, leader of the BJP there. We're also joined by Anuradha Bhasin Jamwal, the executive editor of Kashmir Times. And with me here in the studio is Rashni Kher. He's a Kashmiri Pandit, but also a founder member of Roots in Kashmir. Let me start by asking you, Arun Gupta. This is a very possibly awkward situation for your government, because the petitioner who went to court is also a law officer of your government, of the BJP-PDP government, and he's also somebody who has been associated with the BJP's, one of the BJP's youth organizations. His father has been a prominent BJP leader. So does this mean that the state is standing by and the government is standing by his decision to go to court?
You see, Barkha, let me, you are aware of the fact, but let me take back to the history. This law is there before 1947.
Yes.
And RPC says so, and this is implemented even today also. This is applicable today also.
Yes.
Now, the problem is what court has said. Court has only said that this is law is there and you need to implement this more strictly. That's it.
But what was the need
I don't
for
think
this
there is
petition?
any confusion as far as...
Arunji, what was the need for the petition? I am aware that the law is a pre-independence law. I am aware that it was brought in by the Maharaja of the state. My question is, ये जो petitioner है, who is currently the Deputy Advocate General of the state, Parmikosh Seth, as you know, he is the son of a prominent BJP leader. He's been a BJP youth leader himself. He's now a law officer of the government. Of your government, of this coalition government. So the question then becomes, does the government stand by his petition?
This petition has been going on for many years, you know, because he is what law officer he's become now.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say, this was in the court for much more time, and now this court has given the decision, and decision is just a clarification saying that this already is there, so there's no need, you know, this only needs to be implemented firmly.
Nasir, let me ask you, this is a law, as the BJP spokesperson points out, that has existed pre-independence. It's almost a century old. It was solidified further in 1932. Why has the National Conference, and you were in power for many years of this time period, never ever thought of repealing this law all this while? Aren't you just playing politics?
No, Barkha, it's not that. Let me give you a little background on this. Time and again, we have been saying that efforts have been made by this coalition government to divide the state on regional and communal lines. The very fact that the government failed totally to give a proper response to the PIL filed in the High Court, and the very fact that their own Deputy Advocate General is a petitioner in this PIL is an endorsement to our apprehensions. When you talk about this law, we all agree that it was in place for many years, but it was never enforced the way they want it to be enforced now. There was a social sanction to it, which both the communities agreed till now.
Okay. So you're saying, Nasir, that what has changed is the BJP and the PDP coming together, and you essentially see this as a BJP project. That's what you're accusing the BJP of, Nasir.
They have always been playing a friendly match between them. We don't blame one party. It's the total failure of the coalition government. PDP and BJP are equally responsible. What will be the fallout of what they are trying to do in the state?
Let me bring in Rafi Ahmed Mir of the PDP. Rafi Ahmed Mir, does this create a very difficult situation for the PDP? Because on the one hand, the petitioner in this case, as I said, has strong associations with the BJP. He's a law officer of your government. On the other hand, you may come from a completely different ideological and political position as your when compared to your partner. So how are you going to respond to the National Conference proposal to change the law?
Of course, as you rightly said, this situation is a little difficult. But I understand that we have more difficult problems and more important problems which we want to deal on priority. Your question was very relevant to my dear friend and colleague Mr. Nasir Sogami, that what did they do when they had two-third majority at various times, and the tallest leader of the party was ruling the state, the Sheikh Mohammed Abdullah. Nothing of that sort was done.
But he's saying, but Rafi, he's saying कि तब कोई इसको enforce ही नहीं करता था, except for when Jagmohan, in the reign of Jagmohan, and we'll talk about that. By and large, nobody enforced it.
It was. Yes, of course, you're right. In 1984, when there was Jagmohan was governor of the state, it was again politicized at that moment in South Kashmir.
Yes.
And this time, I think the political parties who are planning to get a bill in the assembly and rest of the things, that is a matter of politics. But don't they understand?
Support this petitioner? But do you and the BJP together as partners support this petition to enforce this ban?
In fact, as you at the very beginning said, that this law has been there since times immemorial. This has been there before 1947 even, and this was going. In fact, I tell you, whenever a law is made, an ordinance issued or a bill is brought, it is brought in consultation with the people, society, and the sections, so that everybody is carried along with.
But before I get
a law which is in books only and that is not respected by the common people, which doesn't suit people, I don't think
my
that's
question
right.
To you,
time
Nasir,
has gone.
But you haven't answered my question, Rafi, but I'll come back to you and ask it again. But Nasir Sogami, the National Conference has also asked for an ordinance before Bakri Eid. Why is this? I ask this as somebody who, loves Kashmir, knows Kashmir. No Kashmiri Muslim I know actually eats beef. No Kashmiri Muslim I know eats beef. It is not innate, it is not organic, in fact, to the culture and the cuisine. So why is it important for your party to ask for this ordinance?
See, Barkha, we are a multi-religious country. We are not a theocratic state.
Yes.
And we have to respect the religious sentiments of every community in our country. It is a religious obligation of Muslims to go for Qurbani on Bakr Eid.
Yes.
That we all agree.
Yes.
By banning this on Bakr Eid, don't you think you are going to create more problems? And my dear friend Mr. Rafi Mir was very much within our fold till very recent. He knows that there was no need to either go for a PIL or change this law, because there was a social sanction to this law so far. Only one time when this thing came up was during Jagmohan's time. And you remember what happened in his own district, Anantnag district.
Yes.
We know that this could have snowballed like it is going to snowball now. So why would we have unnecessarily raked this issue when we didn't need to repeal this act? Okay. Now that they have come, whether it is their sinister design or it is their incompetence, their own government is coming up with a law to enforce it strictly.
Okay.
Are they totally overlooking what is happening on ground? Don't they see people coming out and doing it with a vengeance? I don't justify that. That is also wrong. We have said that I mean, even the constitution of our country guarantees that the religious sentiments of every religion have to be respected.
Okay, let me get Anuradha and Rashnik now. Anuradha, this is an interesting point because it's become less about whether eating beef is organic to the history of Jammu and Kashmir, which it clearly isn't. And it's become more about A, politics, and B, I guess, about perceptions of identity. And everybody, will remind you that in the Jagmohan years, Jagmohan actually attempted a ban on all slaughter on Janmashtami. And we had that famous incident where you had Qazi Nisar at the Lal Chowk saying that I'm going to slaughter sheep publicly. And what Nasir's...
and he actually did it.
And he actually did it. And now his son is threatening to do the same. So, Anuradha, what are the implications?
And he was
arrested. Yes, I know. I'm aware he was
put in the jail
Anuradha,
because he wanted to do it again.
Let Anuradha speak now and then Rashnik. Anuradha.
Sorry, what was the question? I couldn't hear. in
What
the
are
beginning.
the political implications of of this entire controversy?
The political implications are huge. At a very micro level, of course, it puts the government, the PDP, BJP government in the dock.
Yeah.
The NC, by bringing up a bill, would of course be scoring brownie points at this time and putting the government in the dock, where the two coalition partners would have extremely different contrasting views on the issue.
Yes.
And I think, I mean, one needs to ask the National Conference, yes, when it happened in 80s,
Yes.
when Jagmohan banned it and it became a huge controversy,
Yes.
after that there was a huge, long period of calm over the issue, which is when a law could have been brought in and, you know, the whole discourse could have been changed.
Yeah.
Which did not happen. Now at another level, I mean, it's not just the government that stands to be threatened, the two coalition partners, there's a possibility of friction between the two coalition partners, and one doesn't know how things will pan out at that level. But also, you know, in recent years, Jammu discourse has always been used as a counter to the Kashmir discourse.
Yeah.
And religion has been used negatively in both the areas.
Yes.
By certain vested interests too.
Yeah.
So there would be elements, I fear, who would provoke the Jammu sentiments the other way.
Yeah, and that's scary. That do we want this issue to become a point of polarization at a time when radicalism is a concern, when there is a very, very palpable simmering tension in Jammu and Kashmir right now. Rashneek, bring in your perspective as a Kashmiri Pandit here. Look, once again, Anuradha, I just want to get Rashneek.
You see, I am Kashmiri Pandits, most Kashmiri Pandits, in fact, I would say most eat meat. I am one of them. I used to eat meat, and I have brought meat thousands of times as a young boy and as a grown-up in Kashmir. And as you yourself said, eating meat is not, you know, eating beef is not a part of the Kashmiri culture. Now, we have to understand here whether somebody wants to eat beef or not is a personal choice. But if at all they wanted to, you know, kind of, somebody wants to eat and they want to bring a legislation, then they were in power for maybe 30, 35 years. They could have brought this legislation. But Sheikh Abdullah knew that passing such a legislation would be inimical to the interests of the state that he rules. It was always understood that it's a very tricky issue. The very fact that it's called Bakri Eid and not Gai Eid or Bhans Eid is a testament that a Bakri was an accepted animal to be slaughtered. Now they slaughter camels also in Kashmir.
Barkha,
Last year, sir, allow me to speak. The very fact that, you know, it is commonly slaughtered, and I have eaten a lot of Qurban Maaz, and a lot of Kashmiri Muslims brought Qurban Maaz to our houses. So let them decide whether it is good for them or not. But what really worries me is the cultural aspect of it, that it is changing contours of the cultural aspect, where he is saying that it's my religious freedom. The religion does not. The religion says you have to sacrifice. The Prophet had to slaughter his own son. That was Ishmael. I mean, he did not want to slaughter a camel, and then according to the myth, the camel appeared.
Nasir, you have to explain why this is important, why it's being perceived negatively in the valley, because I'm aware that it is. Let's forget the politics for a moment. I think there are a number of young men that writing on Facebook that we are going to assert our identity now by eating cow meat. Yeah.
No. We have to understand that it is a religious obligation which has been practiced since the time of Prophet Ibrahim.
Beef is not the religious
obligation. It's not
obligation.
something new that has come up now.
No.
See, but just tell me, whatever is permitted in our religion, you can't ban it. See, we are not saying that we'll definitely go for a guy Qurbani on Eid. But the very fact that my religion allows it, it somehow doesn't go well that you're unnecessarily putting a ban now.
Rashneek, quick response, and I want to go back.
If that was the case, and Nasir Sagami has been, you know, associated with this party for long, why did they not do it? The simple point is not about food today. It's clearly about politics. They are, you know, and the worst part of it is they are trying to.
But isn't the petition? But isn't the petition also politics? Let's get me cut to it.
politics.
petition of
Otherwise, they had
I'll come
lot
to
of
that. I'll
opportunity to
this
scrap
man,
this
when he
law in
petitioned,
earlier
when
times.
he put this petition that time, he was not a law officer with the government of Jammu and Kashmir. He wasn't.
Okay.
So was he rewarded for this
Indian NC
petition
could
to
have
be
done
filed?
it. That
between
moment
you and
also in the
PDP,
court.
sir.
Was he
That is
rewarded?
between you and
Was he
PDP.
rewarded
They were
as
so
a
keen on
first
this.
deputy
Between you and
advocate
PDP.
general
That you
to
degree-
be a petitioner in this PIL?
Sir, that is between you and PDP.
Not that only, they
That is
could have
between you and
intervened.
PDP. But
No,
the
it's
clear
not- it's
point
not- it's
is
not between
that
any of us.
you are trying to outdo a Rashid engineer in this case.
Well, Rashid Engineer is also bringing in
Where do
the...
you get me into this? Just listen to me.
Yeah.
Barkha, let me respond to you. Where do I stand in this? It is a PIL filed by their own Deputy Advocate General.
Yes.
The government has to respond to it. They
Yeah.
have got us into this situation. Where is my role in this? Now that the situation is on hand,
Yeah.
as a premier political party and
Let
an
me get the
opposition
others to
party
respond.
of the
Let
state,
me get the others to
we
respond.
have to ensure that the sentiments of the people of the state are not hurt in any way.
Arun, let me get you and Rafi to
Barkha,
respond.
political parties
Yeah.
are not supposed to vitiate the atmosphere of the state
You
every
see,
now and
Barkha,
then.
the problem is
The issue-
the problem
So
is
is
that
that
you
the
know,
role of the government only?
although we respect all
Ravi sir,
the
is that the role of your government only to vitiate the atmosphere in the state?
No. Because
can
the
I
political
speak,
parties who are not in
speak?
power, they are only trying to vitiate the atmosphere and create some rucks on one pretext or
you
the
are
other.
not saying...
But don't you
Rafi,
understand they have bigger
Rafi,
issues which
Rafi,
can be
Rafi,
dealt where you can help us?
Rafi Mir, you are not
Barkha, can you
answering...
please ask him?
Rafi,
Are we a petitioner? Are we a petitioner to this
no,
PIL?
but
Please ask him that.
1 minute. Rafi,
No, you are not.
Even
If
if
you
you
are
are
very
not a
keen
petitioner, please allow
for
somebody
a
else to
decision,
speak.
One minute,
in favor of the
guys,
people,
1
then you
minute.
could have also participated.
Rafi, my question is
see,
very simple.
Barkha, the problem with-
Now 1 minute. Arun ji, 1 minute. Rafi ji, 1 minute. Rafi Saab, the question is this. Is the PDP going to implement what the High Court has, or are you going to support the National Conference and Engineer Rashid if this bill
You
to
see-
change
you
the
see-
law
you see-
comes?
you
Rafi
see
first,
when-
then Arun.
You see,
Barkha, can I add to your question, please? Then he can respond.
Okay.
Barkha?
Yeah, okay, Nasir, add one line, then they can respond. One line.
Yeah, just one line. Please ask him. We have a situation coming in front of us. Eid is on 25th of September. Their assembly session is the assembly session is on 3rd of October. So on in this Eid, when we, I mean, some people might go for this Gai Qurbani. What are they going
But
to do?
is this
Are they
Gai
going to put all
Qurbani
of them?
organic
Are they-
to what typically is the Qurbani? We'll come to that. Aren't all of you
No,
playing
not at all.
politics?
They are
According
not-
to me,
they
all
are-
of you
they
are
are-
playing politics.
they
Not
are-
all of you from the petition to this point. But Rafi, please answer the question. Will you back such an ordinance?
But don't you understand? Don't you understand the very question being put to me? They are repeating this is Gai Qurbani. The Eid is not going to be there for the first time, and this ban is not going to be the first time. This is as it was going, and as I earlier told you that every community is to be respected upon. As you see in the this Maharashtra court intervened only to respect the sentiments of other communities also.
Yes.
What is the hurry? They want a hurried decision so that they can build up some more problems here for the
Okay,
people
Arun
and for
Gupta,
the peaceful citizens
I
of the
think the
state.
embarrassment for the government or
Yeah.
the awkwardness, let me put it like this, the awkwardness for the government becomes that this petitioner is a law officer previously associated with the BJP. Now, he has said that when I filed the petition, I was not a law officer. But the point is his name is still on that petition. He's not withdrawn his name, the best I know. Now, forget the petitioner. What are you all going to do?
You see, Barkha, as I have already clarified as far as the petition is concerned, he was not the law officer when it started.
Yes.
But now the situation is when it comes to national conference, let me, put it straight, that national conference today, they are deficit of the sub issues and all what they want. And at any given time, whatever they find, small, they just start politicizing the whole thing, And this is what they have been doing ever since they are out of the power. Probably they are not, in a habit to accept that they can be also in a situation where they become answerable to the public. And today, unfortunately, problem happening for every small thing, they keep on politicizing so much. With the result, what happens that it damages them much more than they can imagine it to happen.
Okay.
But having said so, I am again very clear on this part that this particular is just a clarification which has been given by the High Court saying that this law is already there and it should be implemented. That's it. But although we respect all the religions, we respect all the faiths, but the fact remains Respecting faiths, respecting religion is one issue, and then law is law, you know. I mean, today we are diverting from the topic. Let's understand that what does the law say and how to implement the law.
So let me put that to Anuradha and Rashnik. Anuradha, given that this was always the law, that's what you're hearing the BJP and the PDP saying. It was always the law. Nobody ever asked for an ordinance ahead of Bakri Eid before. Now you're hearing the National Conference spokesperson saying that somebody may want to do a Gai Qurbani. I personally have never witnessed this happening in Jammu and Kashmir ever over the last 2 decades. What is going on here?
No.
Is this only politics or is this something else?
No, it's more than politics, but because in culturally, of course, Kashmiris did not eat beef, but gradually, because beef is economically more viable, and correct me if I'm wrong, you know, there are some Muslims on the panel. What I've heard, according to Quran, on the Bakr Eid, you can sacrifice, you know, there are certain animals that have been prescribed, and I know of cow and camel that are included. You know, when it is permissible in Quran, they can use it as a religious pretext also. But yes, the politics is not only one triggered by National Conference. There's this whole politics to it, how the Kashmiris perceive the entire ban.
What is
Because
that
it
politics?
has just
Explain
come
that to
close on the
people.
heels of...
Anuradha, all of us know Jammu and Kashmir, a lot of our viewers don't. Explain that. Why do they perceive it in a certain way?
Look, there's a general perception in Kashmir that New Delhi is always interfering in the politics of Jammu and Kashmir, that there is this Hindutva policy to saffronize Kashmir, and there is also this tendency to follow a repressive policy in Kashmir. This is the general perception in Kashmir. I'm talking about perception. And this, in this backdrop, the J&K High Court ruling came just on the heels of the controversy in Maharashtra, Rajasthan and Haryana and so on and so forth. So this is being seen as part of a larger game plan.
Okay, I want Rashnik to come in on that. Rashnik, to people who see this as part... Anuradha, let Rashnik come in. Rashnik.
You see, I can name at least, if not more, 20 Muslim saints, Kashmiri Muslim saints, who did not eat meat themselves, Batmol serve, Rishmol serve, they did not. Even on their urs today, for 15 days, you do not cook meat. And Sheikh Nuruddin, who they call the flag bearer or Alamdar-e Kashmir, he forbade eating of meat. Now,
because there is this whole
see,
Buddhist, Shaivite,
whatever. I mean,
historical
there is
tradition
obviously,
to Jammu
you know,
and Kashmir.
yes, there are many Quranic injections, and there is so much in Hadith and Sunnat, but those are specific to time and the space that we follow. Like in that time, Arabia, a 50 or 60-year-old man could marry a 6-year-old. Do we do that in Kashmir today? Because religion has to go in with contemporary times. And in Kashmir, we have seen there's a huge, they are called Muslim rishis. And they have clearly said that this is not to be done. Killing of animals is... Sheikh Nuruddin even went to the extent of saying, he said, break the swords and make signals out of this.
So when you hear Nasir Sugami saying this is part of my right to assert my religious identity.
No, then is it a part of his ethnic identity also? What is a part of his ethnic identity in that
That's a good
case?
question. That's a good question. Nasir Sugami, it may be part of your religious identity, but it's not typical of your ethnic background. Ethnically, Kashmiris don't eat.
Ask Rashnik. Hasn't it been a social sanction for all these years?
What do you mean?
I don't want to generalize it. I mean, maybe we're not all beef eaters, but Rashnik will bear me out that there are pockets in Valley where beef was always available even in markets.
Sir, not before, I mean, and I have lived in the area that you live, and I have lived in South Kashmir for quite some time, and not before 89, it wasn't very easily available. Yes, it was available, people did eat, but the proportion of people even today, and I am saying it because I stay with a lot of Kashmiri Muslims, I know them, they are my friends. Its percentage is so small that its percentage is so small, you cannot say it has social sanction. Yes, people are...
As long as...
Mr. Sugami, please hear me out, I will hear you out. The percentage of such people is so small that, if there is a politics of what Anuradha says, of perception that somebody is trying to, Hinduize, then there is also a counter perception that this is being, radicalizing the society in a certain manner which is not ethnic to Kashmir. That is something
Okay,
that I
Nasir
can tell
Sugawari,
you.
please respond. Why is this important?
Barkha,
Why
let
is
me-
it important? You have to be able
No,
to
Barkha,
explain
let-
why you are seeking to bring this legislation for a law that already exists.
It wasn't important. It wasn't important. The very fact that the judgment has come out
Yes.
now in response to this PIL,
Yes.
that has created this situation. And one more point that I want to make. There are many things which are prohibited in my religion.
Yes.
Consumption of many things is prohibited in my religion.
Yes.
Have we ever once asked you to ban them? Or
That's
stop,
true. That's
consuming
true.
those,
Like liquor is available, and there is a reasonably liberal attitude to it in the valley, and so that's fine, and that's how it should be. And that's an interesting point to make.
Certainly, and
Yeah. But therefore, you're saying, Nasir, that it's the timing of it that makes you feel that there's more to it than just enforcing the law.
not only the timing,
Then?
the issue is unnecessarily being raised. Barkha, let me just tell you one more thing. It's not only the timing. These issues are unnecessarily being propped up now. See, they're not only annoying one community in the state. Take example of this the levying of the surcharge on the helicopter tickets to Mata Vishnu Devi. Doesn't that annoy a certain section of the society unnecessarily?
But
What are they trying to do here?
no, but Nasir, aren't you also? You could make the argument that an unnecessary controversy was raked up, and this was a non-issue for years, and I would agree with that. But aren't you also contributing to that process with this legislation? Aren't both sides doing the same thing?
You tell me an alternate solution. See, Barkha, please ask Rafi Mir Saab. He is representing the government.
Yes.
Tell him, ask him to give us an alternate solution to this problem.
Rafi, please respond. Rafi Mir Saab.
Alternative will definitely come, provided they don't add fuel to the fire. If there is a situation that has arisen, I have earlier also told, then we have worse conditions we are facing. Then what happened to the victims of the flood and many other things? We are already suffered for last 20 years,
What are you
and
doing
all
for
because of
flood
National
victims?
Conference and Coalition.
They are trying-
You
Today also roads were blocked because of them. They have done nothing for the flood victims so far.
Nasir sir, please have patience. The whole world, including our Chief Minister, is out on a statement today also that we are going to take all these things on priority. But your prioritizing
That
issue,
how
which
much
is a
time?
non-issue in
Rafi
Jammu
sir,
and Kashmir,
how
in
much
fact.
more time? It's already been 8 months.
We are not discussing
Rafi
flood
Saab-
victims here, but I tell you,
Rafi Saab,
this is not
Rafi
a
Saab,
priority
flood
issue
relief-
which
flood
you are
relief is a very
brought it
different
up.
debate.
Rafi
Well, let's
sir,
not
you
mix up
brought it
issues
up.
here.
I didn't bring it up. You brought it up.
Rafi Saab, what is the position of the
situation has
PDP?
come. We have,
Sir.
though we have respect for the court orders,
Sir,
but I am
PDP
telling
का
you for
position क्या
general
रहेगा?
public, this is a non-issue.
Non-issue.
This is a
Okay.
this ban is a non-issue. It has
Okay.
been happening here. It has been there. There have been slaughters and
then
many
they are-
other things.
then they
Why
are
make an
totally
issue out of this? You see that this will be dealt very properly.
Then I'm sorry. Then we will again. Then I might again reiterate that
Okay.
either they are totally incompetent to handle the situation, and there is a sinister design to this.
Okay.
If
You
he
say
says that
I have to
there is-
start
there is
ending with
a
the last
total
comment from
normalcy on
Arun,
this
Anuradha and
issue,
Rashni.
then God help them. God
Okay,
help
Arun
them,
Gupta, Arun Gupta, how do you disassociate yourself from the fact that it looks like a BJP petition? Because this Deputy Advocate General is from your political stable.
See, I have already clarified twice, Barkha, that saying that when it started, he was not there, he was not part of the
Yeah.
BJP.
Yeah.
And then, again I am saying this as far as the national conference is concerned.
Yes.
You see, they are doing something which is not there to be done. It's no issue at all.
Well,
I
it
don't
is
know why they are doing something, because they
Okay.
should actually focus on something which is important to be focused. They are
okay.
focusing on all useless things while they were in government, and today in opposition also they have the same
I have
stand.
read.
They don't work, neither they work then nor they work
One
today.
small point.
Okay, one small point, then I have to say, I
Once
have
they
to
are
end,
in
I'm out of time.
government, then ban is okay. Once they are in
Please,
government,
please,
then they want
please,
to
I'm out of
bring
time.
the legislation.
Please ask them to clarify it to me. Why was more than half of the town put under curfew, and why did they have to face such a huge law and order situation for last 3 days?
Because this is nothing new. You know it yourself. You have been in the government. Because this
Because
such
you are the
Are
one
we
such
playing
situation
with
can be
fire
utilized.
here?
Besides, you are the one who
Anuradha and Rashni get the
Of
last
course,
word.
yes, of course,
Anuradha,
yes.
are we playing with fire here? Are all sides playing with fire here?
Yeah, of course, they're all playing with fire.
Yeah.
Now, we can go on harping about whether the law is right and law has existed. Of
Yeah.
course, it has existed.
Yeah.
But it's an old law which was there in place when there was a Hindu monarch ruling the state.
Yes.
Now, things have changed. We are a free-thinking society. We are a secular, democratic country, and we should have a free choice to what we eat, to what we wear. I mean, tomorrow I would not like to be told what I should have the right to wear what I want to wear or eat what I want to wear, and you have no business being offended.
Last word to Rashmi, very quickly. Ma'am, sorry, I'm out of time. Yeah.
I have only this thing to say that even if they want to, let us say, remove, there could have been a more propitious time, and they could do it not in the way that they are going about.
We'll have to leave it there. Somehow it's just one more context for tension between the regions within the valley, and that's what's, I would say, ominous at this point, and I hope political parties on all sides will pay close attention to that. Rashmi Kher, Anuradha Bhasin, Arun Gupta, Nasir Sugami, and of course Rafi Ahmed Mir, thank you so much for joining us on the Buck Stops here. We're taking a